Have you ever felt excluded or lonely, even in a crowded room? Well, right now, I'm at my high school. Decided to make this video here. I was already out. That's why I'm not making this video with the normal headphones and all that stuff in this series. I was already out, and I decided I'm going to make a video in a place where it ties together with what I'm talking about. Well, I was a quiet kid here at school. I didn't talk a whole lot, and if I did, I was trying too hard. Trying too hard to fit in, trying too hard to stand out. But every time I did, it didn't go that well. Okay, so I'm going to move it just a little bit. Okay, so this is a perfect place to talk about this video, because maybe you can relate to this. I had a feeling of being left out of a lot of stuff, not being included in a lot of things. I wasn't a popular kid. I was a quiet kid, which is quite the opposite. I wanted to hold on to people, but nobody was wanting to hold on to me. So I never really got a lot of friends. I never had a lot of friends, including from back then to now. I have a few right now. There's something that just popped in my mind right now. You don't need a lot of friends to feel loved, to feel cared for. That you don't have to be the most popular kid in work, school, that you're not left out, that the people who do care about you, the friends that you do have, that's what's important. Not quantity, but the quality of that bonding friendship you have. Not having so many, because you're gonna have thousands of hundreds of friends. That doesn't mean they were good relationships. They could just, it tends to just be there because of they like you because what you have, or you're a popular person or whatever. They tend to value quantity more than quality. So I want you to look at it in the lens of that, rather than trying to fit into a situation that maybe you don't belong in. We try to cram ourselves into a place, into a crevice that the puzzle piece doesn't match, but you wanted to match with that because everyone else is there. But the second you do that, you're just a part of them and you're not standing out from the bunch. And that quote, I've always said, you were made to stand out, not to blend in, which I said that in my own words. It's said a little bit differently, but you can get what I'm saying, right? You know, and being an introvert is not a problem. That if you're very secluded, you're very to yourself, that's fine, right? That's you. So just know that. Just know being an introvert is not something you have to fix. You know, shoulders down, you can relax now. Know that you're good. I'm not going to tell you to change or anything like that to try to fit in, if that's what you're thinking this video was about, to get into that group that you're trying to get into, fit into where you feel left out. And sure, we'll kind of get into certain scenarios and such where it does matter. But in things like this or other things that you have in mind, don't try to push yourself in to a place you don't belong. And there's some amazing benefits of introverts versus extroverts. And I'm not dissing extroverts if you are one at all. I just wanted to go over some of the psychological, neurological differences between introverts and extroverts. Extroverts are more responsive to dopamine and neurotransmitters. So if you don't know what dopamine is, it kind of gives you that satisfaction, like of joy, kind of like your phone. The reason why people like being on their phone, watching videos, it gives you that quick dopamine, like fast, right away, versus doing like an extracurricular activity, doing something else or whatever. The neurotransmitter linked to reward and excitement. That's kind of what I was just explaining. That's why social situations often feel more rewarding to them, because they get that quick, responsive excitement. Introverts rely more on acetylcholine. I completely messed that up. Which supports focus, thoughts, and a sense of calm from introspective introspection, and meaningful one-on-one connection. And there's a beauty of that. Wanting that one-on-one connection with people and not trying to just conversate with hundreds of people with meaningless conversations, but that you want them to matter. And I'll get into that a little bit right now. Introverts tend to process information deeply and careful before speaking. Their brain pathways take slightly longer, more internal route, while extroverts prefer many interactions, variety of experiences. And introverts, they prefer depth, fewer interactions, but meaningful conversations, like I was just saying right now. Instead of just wanting to talk, when you speak or when they are speaking to you, you want it to be with intention, with reason and purpose. Even if you don't know what that purpose exactly is, it's there. Because we are all hardwired, no matter what, introvert, extrovert, to want connection, relationships with people. We were made by God that way. And so when we do as introverts, me being an introvert, I wanted connection, yet I was timid back then. I was very nervous of being made fun of, or me not being the way they wanted me to be, because I wasn't like their friends. I wanted to be. I tried to dress a certain way. I tried to talk a certain way. I cussed because they did. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You just go down this rabbit hole, and that's why I was trying to explain. Don't try to get into a place where it's not suitable for you. It may take a little bit more time because like we were reading, the few conversation interactions that you want to get into, you want it to go somewhere. And hopefully down the road, that conversation with that one person becomes a friend. So it's a little bit different than somebody who's just like talks once and then lets it be like, okay, let's just hang out or whatever. Now, the energy, the excitement of extroverts comes from out. Introverts, it comes from within. You find the enjoyment of things that you can do yourself, or things from within yourself, because you've learned to do that by spending time alone, or with the few people that you have, that you're not trying to find it elsewhere. You're not trying to find it from other people, but you can be content with where you are in your room. But every now and then, like I said, we're made for connection and relationships. So then you have that want to connect, to communicate with other like-minded people. The reason why I decided to read all that was so that you can know that there's nothing wrong with you, that you're who you are, and if you're just more timid than other people, then be timid. That's fine. You're confident in your faith, you're confident in who you are, and you just didn't need approval or whatever it is from other people, that you're content with whatever you have. But you do have sensations of that lonely feeling of, and I don't got nobody. And the way I felt when I had the feeling of being lonely, it's not that I didn't have anybody, it's that nobody had me, right? Like, I was wanting to grab them, but they didn't want to grab me back. So there's that disconnect. And if you want to know how much of an introvert I was, which in somewhat I guess you can say I still am in many cases, even with family too. Not that I was nervous or shy, but just quiet. I was always a quiet kid, but I didn't see it as a problem. Some people thought they felt bad. I was chilling. I didn't think I had anything interesting to talk about. But then when I grew up, I learned that being honest is always interesting, which is another beautiful quote that I heard. Being open, being you is interesting. Other people will be like, well, that's lame for you to like this, for you to be disagreeing with the things that are trending or the things they like, everyone else likes. You do you. I go to symphony orchestras all the time. People always think that's weird. Or I'll go to this garden place and just look at plants and learn about individual plants by myself. Or I'll go to a museum and just want to learn. Or read about books that don't matter. Just experience life on your own, not trying to worry about the eyes of others. The only eyes that are looking at you and that care about you for you is God. Yes, your family and stuff, but you're here to live for God. And when you live for God, you're living for you, the true you. And I want that to come out. I want that of you to be opened up so that you can show the world who you really are and the gifts that you have to show this world. That the world's trying to get you to get your vision to be blurred out because you're not like them. And guess what? Good. I'm glad you're not like them. I'm glad you don't fit in. I'm glad that you're left out. I don't like the feeling that you feel left out or that you feel abandoned, but it's a good thing that you're not a part of it. Because the relationships you're about to get into are going to be a lot better than the ones on the other end. Because these other relationships with individuals you're about to have are going to be intentional and on purpose. I think a bird just got eaten alive. Sorry, I hope that doesn't damper the conversation. It's so sad. Okay, let's just hope I'm wrong. Now, where I am today, I'm 23, and I love talking to people. And strangers, it doesn't matter. Which is strange for how I grew up, how I always was. I'm still to myself. I still prefer to do things by myself than anything else. I cherish my alone time. I use a lot of that time with God, reading, praying, doing beautiful things with Him, experiencing life, just kind of in my own little bubble. But I get out of it to talk to people, love on them, have small talk with strangers, whoever it is. And it may seem odd that I'm very introverted like I always was, because I make videos all the time and I talk, but when it always had to do with Jesus, I'm gonna just continue talking, and it'll take you a while to shut me up if I'm talking about Him, because I'm just always pumped about it. And then ever recently, I'm able to conversate in just about anything. Talk about if I'm at the museum, like, dude, this is crazy looking, or whatever, just like, I actually just have small talk with people I'm around if I'm doing something, which is totally unlike me to do that. I almost shock myself sometimes doing what I do. But the beautiful thing about being to yourself is I've noticed I have more time with God. I have more time to do what I like myself. I have more open time to read. I have more time to cherish the little moments I have in my life with God alone and being secluded. But I always make time to be around others. I make time to text my friend and say, hey, let's go do this, or whatever it is. Let's just go talk. Let's go out to eat somewhere. I make sure that I do have social interactions. I make sure that I have that. But also, care about you. And don't let the alone time be a negative thing. So that feeling of not being included, you're not left out. You're just being put in a better place. God's putting you in a better place than a place that you were going to take yourself. I don't know if you clicked on this video thinking I was going to talk about how you can fit into these groups, or how you can fit in at church or something, because I know church people growing up, they were always extroverted. Every kid at VBS, Vacation Bible School, was always extroverted, so excited. They're willing to scream, to do all kinds of physical activities, and I'm just like, yo, I'm in the corner, like, that's crazy work. I'm not doing that. No. Oh man. And they're still like that today, right? You got young people going to churches, and they're very extrovert, they're very talkative, they're, you know, they don't mind being in the spotlight of being in the conversation. No. I just didn't want you guys to think that there's anything wrong with you because you see people that are complete opposites when it comes to social interaction. Remember this: God does not love you any less because you're not talkative, because you don't have 1,000 friends, because you always get invited to stuff. He loves you. No, he doesn't love you like that. He doesn't love you for what you have, what you're doing, but it's who you are. That's where it matters. And that's how good relationships should be with the friends that you have. That they care about you, not what you have, not what you do all the time, not because of your job, not because of your money, whatever, but because of you, because you're great. They love you for that reason. You're a sweet person, you're lovable, you're caring, you smile all the time. We can sit down, have a deep conversation, and be serious about it. We can joke around, and that's a great relationship. And an iron sharpens iron relationship, that when I stumble in a temptation, in an act, that you have a friend to hold you accountable, that to help you out, so you guys can grow together. Friendships don't just have to be about doing fun things together, but that y'all can have a serious Jesus relationship that's fun. So I hope this touched your heart to feel loved and cared for how you are like that, because I'm like that now. So just breathe, relax. You're loved, you're cared for. You have no need to try to catch up with the world, but the world needs to catch up to you, because your relationship with God is so good that you're going to make an impact in the world. And like we were saying earlier, that when you talk, it's intentional with reason, and it's got some serious purpose to it. And when you talk about Jesus, when you just live your life, people are going to see that. They're going to recognize that you really care about him. Because, well, if you're quiet all the time, then, wow, this is the first time he's been really open to talk to me, and the first thing he wants to say is Jesus. So this must be a serious thing to him. Not saying you're a quiet person, but for those who are, you're not crazy in any way. I want to pray for you before we end the video pretty soon. So let's do that. Dear God, I pray that anybody who's watching this video, that I hope it just touched their heart to let them know that they are loved and cared for. That they don't have to be someone, but that you let them know that they are someone, that they are a child of God, and they are ready to do amazing things for your kingdom. That even as an introvert, somebody who's to themselves a lot, that they don't even have to speak to someone for that person to know that they love you, that they live for you. But just their lifestyle, just them, the presence they give off is just your love, your peace, your forgiveness. Lord, just continue to overwhelm them with love. More and more love and care. In Jesus' mighty name I pray, amen. I really wanted to talk about it because I've discussed on this channel a good amount of times, I would think, about introverts, about maybe not being included or whatever it is. But I wanted to dive a little bit deeper of not being included into specific groups because I was thinking the exact same thing. Hopefully you are, and this video went home with you. I was actually just thinking about it before I was recording. I was in the area, and right now it is, I don't know if you can see that, it's 4:05 in the morning right now. And I saw the school, and it made me really think about really not fitting in all that much, not having a lot of friends, always being quiet. The entire 4 years I was in this school, not once that I can remember ever sitting in the cafeteria, because it's an open cafeteria. And I went to the library by myself. I went into the library, and I would bring my Bible sometimes. Sometimes I'd be on my phone. Sometimes I'd just talk to God and pray. And sometimes I'd have a friend there. And I didn't feel bad for myself at all. And I don't want you either. Embrace it. But I know there are people that I know in the comments where they do feel alone. They feel left out. They do feel like no one understands them. Let me know in the comments if this video was helpful, and maybe the interactions that you've had with people that really matter to you, and how you are as an introvert. Just your relationship with Jesus Christ. I would be glad to hear it, because like introverts are, we're intentional and we talk with reason. So I know that when you comment down below whatever you want to say to me, and you want to tell all the other people who watch this video in the comments, I'm going to be so happy to read whatever you write. And I'll be sure to comment down as well. I love you guys. I always will. Thank you guys so much for being here. And be sure to subscribe so that you're in tune with more Breath of God episodes. Because the Breath of God Breath of God series are pretty much about uplifting you, helping you out in your life. Not preachy at all. This is not something I would talk about like on a Sunday church thing. This is not something. This isn't a sermon. This is a personal from me to you, uplifting like-minded believers. Iron sharpens iron. This is what this is. It's the daytime videos, the regular videos that I make. Those ones are like sermons. I wanted to have specific things of videos of where it's just all Jesus and the amazing things he does and just is. And the Breath of God series is just, man, a one-on-one with each other. So for those Christians are like, you didn't talk about a whole bunch of Jesus in this video. No, it's meant to be very Christian based. But thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Messenger out.